In this video, I will be doing some repairs and modifications for our bearded dragon Merlin's terrarium. I will build him a new climbing rock and repair the cracks that can be seen in the background. Unfortunately, I didn't take footage of the first step, making the structure for the climbing rock by carving out spray foam. So in this video, let's start with the new climbing rock structure already made. In this build, I am using elastic tile grout and watering it down so that it is relatively liquid consistency to make it easier to apply. The first layer of grouting is very important to get right and get the grout in all of the nooks and crannies and the holes that the foam makes, because this gives structural integrity to the build. Sometimes this can be difficult, but choosing the right products also helps. I suggest using elastic tile grout for the first layer, as this is, like the name suggests, more elastic and also adheres better to the foam structures than, for instance, thin-set mortar. Let's continue with the second layer of the grouting. This is the most important layer for the strength of the build. If you need additional strength for more heavy-duty stuff, for instance for a bigger animal, for a bigger terrascape or something like that, I would suggest using, for instance, thin-set mortar for the second layer, and then later continuing on with another layer of the elastic tile grout. Next, it is important to seal the grout. Here I am using a water-soluble and latex-based waterproofer. It is important to do multiple layers of the waterproofer, and to make it easier, you can color the waterproofer itself. Here I have used acrylic paint as the colorant. This makes it easier to see where you have already applied the product, and also you can use it later as the base color of your terrascape. I did a brown-red color, as this is going inside my bearded dragon terrarium. The next step after the waterproofing is painting the background. Here too, acrylic paints can be used. First, I am using my darkest colors, often even plain black, which I put in the deepest points and the crevices and where I think naturally shadows would exist. There are multiple ways of painting the background. For instance, you can use acrylic paint diluted in water and spray down the enclosure. The paint will naturally flow in the crevices. However, as this is a repair work and the terrarium is not fully empty, I chose to do everything with a brush. After the dark colors, add lighter ones on top. At this point, you can get creative, and often it helps to use reference photos from the natural habitat of the animal. As the last paint layer, and to make the rocky elements look more natural and worn out, I am using white paint with a dry brushing technique. Now Merlin can get use of his full terrarium again. The background is repaired and no longer has any cracks, and he has a new rock to climb on. This is something I had to do because during the original terrarium build, I was in too much of a hurry and I didn't let all the layers cure properly before the next step, which of course resulted in cracks. Also, I made Merlin a new climbing rock, as sometimes it seems that he thinks he is a gecko as he is climbing horizontally on the background walls and finding high ledges to perch on like a regular beardy.